Welcome to Procrastination Limits, where I'm too lazy to move to the right a bit. In Deltarune, you have two options in every battle, either to fight or to spare. But if you choose to spare, you have two further options on how you want to spare. Do you do it through the obvious spare button? Or do you do it to the slightly more obscure Pacify skill? Either way, the enemy gets spared and in later chapters recruited. Here's a question. How much of a pacifist can you be without pressing the spare button or pacify? Here are the rules. To put it simply, we're going to try to finish as many battles peacefully without using spare or pacify. If spare or pacify is required, we're going to have to end it with violence, unless we can skip the battle entirely. We want to end this with more spares than fights. Do you think it's going to be in the double digits? Do you think it's going to be just one or two? How will we see together? But first we need to make a vessel. And dunk it into the trash can. After skipping the intro, we enter the dark world. And I'm just going to turn on auto run because I'm too lazy to hold X. And we meet our first encounter being Lancer. So this isn't actually a battle since just running and dodging. So let's go into the actual battle against Lancer. So let's deal with how we're going to treat Susie's auto attacking. The goal is to see how many battles we can finish without pressing either fight, spare, or pacify. So in that case, Susie's auto hitting is neither of those three, so it should be fine. But let's be honest, that's still basically just pressing this fight button to attack. So we're gonna try to minimize using Susie's auto attacking on enemies as well. But we're decided if Susie attacks but doesn't defeat the enemy, such as Lancer with Lancer here, it does not count against us. So right now we have 0 normal ways to finish the battle. And as we continue, we go into the next battle, which is a dummy fight. Sure, you can skip this battle by just deciding not to do the tutorial. And I mean, you would want to since it's a tutorial on how to fight, pacify, and spare enemies, so the 3 things we don't want to do in this challenge run. But you can actually get away with using none of those by using specific turns. Such as we skip fighting by using the Hug Act in turn 1. You can skip spells by using the Glow Shard repeatedly during Nelsie's turn, or using Heal Prayer. And we can skip sparing by defending on the last tutorial. So whether you choose to do this battle or not, that is still 0 fights, 0 spares, and 0 pacifies for now. Now as we enter the Field of Hopes and Dreams, we're going to skip this rune by just running around them. And as you take a little detour for items, I'm just going to explain a little bit how enemies are in Chapter 1 and how it's different from every other chapter. In Chapter 1, as long as you haven't fought that specific enemy before, it will chase you if you enter its range. Other than that, it's just going to go in its predetermined pattern. So with this specific Rudin, you have to wait until it's at its highest point so you can actually run past it as it tries chasing you. Our next battle is a forced battle with 3 Hat Thieves, which I couldn't find how to deal with, so instead I'm going to use this to show a little perk I found, I guess. Not sure if it's a glitch. But if you pause the menu on this section and equip the White Rivet on Ralsei. Before Ralsei notices, you'll start the battle. Then just continue the battle as normal. And just wait a bit for it to actually finish. And these are the first 3 uses of violence added to the counter. Once the battle finishes, Ralsei finally realizes that you gave him the white ribbon. Just something I want to show. And yes, you do look pretty. Our next battle is the Suzy tutorial with C round, where all we have to do is use warning, and Suzy will miss her attack. And since Suzy didn't defeat the enemy, we're counting that as a win. What we cannot count as a win, however, is against the 3 Jigsaws, where I couldn't find a way of actually sparing them without using the spare button or without Suzy defeating them. So I'm gonna finish the battle in probably the most sadistic way you can. So that's gonna be 3 Suzy hits to the counter. Our next avoidable fight is with this Rudin. With careful positioning, you are able to run around him. And once you enter the checkerboard, you have these pawn men. Luckily, if you pause, they lose all their momentum. So you could just keep pausing and not worry about touching these walls. You don't even have to have good rhythm, just keep doing it. Next is the K round fight, which, if you remember from normal gameplay, the crown falls off automatically after your final deep bow, or bow, which ends the fight immediately. That's another win. Our next avoidable fight, and very easily to avoid, is the Rabbit. But, ironically, being the easiest to avoid, it's also, so far, the only one that can finish the fight without fighting, sparing, or pacifying. By simply using blow on twice, the second hit will automatically spare without mashing the button. The same works with Breath Ball. Next fight is the Clover fight, which I'm just gonna speed up for you and say I couldn't find any way of finishing this fight without sparing or pacifying. So fighting it is. The next avoidable fight is with these 2 block swords. Sort of the same, if you pause, they kind of lose their speed a bit. They can take advantage of that and careful positioning to avoid entering battle. Never forget the originals. Our next force fight is against Suzy and Lancer. That ends after complimenting Lancer enough. Our next fight is against Lancer, which ends after Suzy misses. The next fight is with Jevil. But if I remember correctly, you can only end Jevil's fight in 2 ways, either pacifying or by fighting. Since we're trying to minimize how we use either of those options, we can't do the Jevil fight. Unless you count fighting but not actually pressing Z on your turn. But like, that'd be too weird, who would even try that? But, for the sake of this challenge, we're not going to do Jevil. Our next avoidable battle is Rudin Ranger, which can be easily avoided by going first down, then back up and then to the left. Forehead Hattie, I'm going to use something called Auto Run Stutter Stepping, which is basically what I use with the Pawn Men and Block Swords, where by pausing and unpausing, Chris keeps all of their momentum, but enemies do not. The problem is that it's very tight here and I messed up so many times that Honestly, I gave up for a bit. Last battle before the end is against K-Round again. So after Susie's idea, we just finished the fight again. So the final battle is against King, which is basically just keep defending and using courage. And wait enough turns, and you've done it without sparing or passing. For the sake of future chapters, any fighting, sparing, or pacifying done outside of battle will not count. This may not apply to certain times you're able to fight outside of battle. As for our score, we have 7 uses of fighting and 12 uses of sparing. So out of those 12 spares, 3 of them are Lancer, 3 of them are Rabbits, and 3 of them are Round. So if you want to count unique spares and fights, that would be 3 unique enemies, being Hattie, Jigsaw, and Clover, and 6 unique spares, being Lancer, the Dummy, Round, Rabbit, Susie, and King. So, no matter how you count it, we have more spares than fighting, either whether it be 5 or 3. So I count that as a win for now. As for now, if you enjoyed watching, leave a like. And if you want to see me do this challenge for chapters 2 and 4, where I try to get as minimum spares and pacifies, but also getting as many recruits as possible, be sure to subscribe so you can watch those next. Chapter 3's video is actually already out. Why did I do them in the wrong order? Because why not?